Welcome to the Jennifer J. Hammond Podcast. Jennifer is a licensed realtor, educator, speaker, and best-selling author. Jennifer's goal is to help you find your yay in every day.
Hello. This is Jennifer J. Hammond. And I'm here because today I wanted to talk to you about short-term rentals in Washington, D.C. One question that I've gotten so often is about short-term rentals, these vacation rentals as an investor. Often this is where you're going to be able to make so much more money by renting out your property for short-term rentals. However, the regulations are different in every single jurisdiction. And Washington, D.C. just recently passed all sorts of regulations. They had started in 2018 before the pandemic, but they didn't actually go into effect until June 2022. So I want to talk a lot about this. Just for this particular episode, I am actually going to go straight to the resource that you should also look at if you are possibly a real estate investor in Washington, D.C., and you're thinking about doing short-term rentals. The website is dcra.dc.gov and then /short-term rentals. And this is where I'm going to get all this information. But just in a little bit of a nutshell, I want to talk about short-term rentals in Washington, D.C. It's very important. This act, again, it was started to create the new law was the Short-Term Rental Regulation Act of 2018. It is now in effect. And again, it just recently went into effect. But let me start. I always love to start with some definitions. So let's start first with what is a short-term rental. So a short-term rental, it allows a host to offer a fee-based lodging as their primary residence while the host is present on the property, like in a bedroom in a home. So in other words, you could rent out a bedroom, you could rent out the basement. A lot of times in Washington, D.C., people rent out the basement, and they're allowed to stay for a short amount of time. The stay is usually 30 days or fewer, and you have very different rights than a tenant in Washington, D.C. So a vacation rental is, and I'm looking straight at the website to make sure, because again, wherever you are in the United States, you want to make sure that you know the definition of a vacation rental wherever you are. And the same thing with first-time homebuyer programs, and we'll talk about that in another episode. But right now, vacation rentals in Washington, D.C. So this one also on the website, it says, what is a vacation rental? A vacation rental is a type of short-term rental that allows a host to offer this fee-based thing. And cumulatively, vacation rentals cannot exceed 90 days in any calendar year. And each rental is limited to 30 or fewer continuous nights. So again, I wanted you to know that's a big change that I don't think people were aware of before, is that vacation rentals cannot exceed 90 days in any calendar year. For property owners, whether you are simply seeking to share your space with others, so you want to get a little extra income, you're going to rent out a room or your basement, you must have a rental license. So it's really important to understand that you need to have that rental license and some of the requirements that you need to have to apply. Number one, you must have proof of liability insurance with a minimum of $250,000 in coverage, and you must provide that to be able to apply. You also need what's called a certificate of clean hands issued within 30 days in the property owner's name. It must be obtained from the Washington, D.C. Office of Tax and Revenue. If the rental is a co-op, a condo, or a property that's in like an HOA association, the owner must attest that the bylaws, the house rules, all of that stuff, that they are allowed to do short-term rentals. So it's really important to understand some of these regulations. And one of the things, again, like I said, I want to make sure you understand if you're looking at doing that, you want to go to the DC guidelines on this. And remember that business license is very important. The insurance is important. But there's an entire PDF They will give you all sorts of information as a property owner, all the requirements, the liability requirement, the certificate of clean hands. You need to make sure that the host, in their requirements, it also says the host must provide a 24-hour accessible phone number to reach them or their representative in case of an emergency. The host must post the short-term vacation or rental license conspicuously inside the property. That, again, I know that many people haven't done that before. So you must put that rental license conspicuously, obviously somewhere in the property. Also, all applicable, transient lodging taxes, which will be collected by booking services on behalf of the host, must be paid. Now, some booking services do that, some do not. I've talked about that in other episodes as well. So make sure you know about that. Records of each booking must be maintained for 2 years. Also, investment properties and those owned by corporate entities are not eligible. Okay, so think about that a little bit. There are these are very specific guidelines. Investment properties and those owned by corporate entities are not eligible. So let's get back to that short-term rental license. Owner occupied during the rental. Number 2, guests have restricted use of the income, i.e. like a room or an area of the home. No limit of the number of rentals per year. If it's their individual rentals are limited to 30 continuous nights. Okay, so that's for a short-term rental license. Then there's a vacation rental license. Owner is not on the premises during the rental, and guests have exclusive use of the entire home during the rental. Rentals are limited to a total of 90 days per calendar year. The individual rentals cannot exceed 30 continuous nights. So the total cost for either the license, for either one of these licenses is $104.50 for a 2-year license. This includes the $70 processing fee, a $25 endorsement fee, and a 10% platform fee. So I'm getting all of this straight from the DC website. So it says, let's see, property owners who have been operating short-term rentals will have 90 days from January 10th, 2022. That was a while ago, to apply for and obtain a short-term or a vacation rental license before enforcement begins. So all hosts must be licensed by April 10th, 2022. So it's already passed. So if you're listening to this now, you should have your rental license, whether it's a vacation rental or a short-term rental. Make sure you have that. And of course, this is all on here. And it also goes into some details for the renters. The renters, they're not allowed to use the parking that's made for people who actually own there. So like for short-term rentals are allowed to operate in any neighborhood or zone in the district as long as the host has a valid short-term or vacation rental license. Guests are allowed to park on public streets, but must observe any residential parking restrictions. Guests are not considered a guest of a resident in the district annual visitor parking pass program. And so if you're not familiar with that, there's a very specific program where you can go down to the local DC police office and get a visitor parking pass, and you're not allowed to do that in this kind of situation. So to confirm the existence of a license, please use Scout, DCRA's online consolidation database, to confirm the existence of a short-term license. So if you're a neighbor and you want to find out more about that, and again, remember, all this information is on the website dcra.dc.gov/short-term rentals. So there's all sorts of questions in here and answers that will help you. But I wanted to give you a quick overview on this because this law just went into effect this year in 2022. And again, by June 10th, you should have had your license if you are having either a vacation rental or short-term rentals in the District of Columbia, Washington, D.C. Yay! So there's your quick update. I wanted to give you that. That's a big change than what it was before. And you need to know, I will keep getting you the information that helps you make good decisions in real estate. I am Jennifer J. Hammond. Yay! And I hope I help you say yay every day, especially about real estate.
Hi, I'm Jack Canfield. You may know me as the co-author of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series. And if you want more help in getting from where you are to where you want to be, I want to encourage you to listen to the Jennifer Hammond Show